Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jonathan Coase, and today's free copywriting / direct response marketing tutorial. I actually ran into an article from the American Writers Institute, and they was talking about why direct response copywriting is far from dead. So I want to go into this and share with you different books and resources. One from the Robert Collier letter book. There's a chapter. I just want to read with you the first couple of paragraphs that kind of support this. This is one of the most legendary advertisers in the history of copywriting and direct response. So I recommend checking this out, the Robert Collier letter book, as well as Ogilvy on advertising. This is the most legendary advertiser. So I have a couple of different things that I want to share with you. This is just another resource that I want to throw in when it comes to like direct response marketing. And then the Gary Halbert letter. He's probably the best copywriter in history, as well as advertising secrets of the written word. I have a paragraph that I want to read to you in here. Dan Kennedy's The Ultimate Sales Letter. You definitely want to grab this if you want to up your game when it comes to assembling and crafting a sales letter that's persuasive and gets the job done, that makes you money. So there's actually an interview between Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy. Frank Kern is actually one of the most legendary direct response marketers in the modern times. He came up under Dan Kennedy. So you can check out his website. I'm not affiliated with him, but he has a lot to learn from. I'll leave all of these different books, tools, and resources in the description for your further reference. But I just want to go over a couple of them in support of this article that I found from the American Writers and Artists Institute. So let's get started at the very top. Direct response copywriting is far from dead. We've been here before. When the web was first starting to gain some traction in the late 90s and early 2000s, many people feared direct mail and direct response copywriting would die off. As we all know, it didn't. The web didn't make traditional direct response copy go away. It only helped it grow and created many more opportunities for writers. In fact, the need for direct response copywriting has only grown thanks to the internet. Companies need copy that get people to take action, whether it's to click on a link, open an email, follow them on social media, fill out a form, or get them to buy their product or service. It's the same right now with content marketing. It's a big trend that's creating big opportunities for writers due to the sheer amount of content that these companies need. So this is the reason why content marketing is so hot right now. What is happening now more than ever is that companies need to create trust first and foremost. So this is actually why I want to touch on a couple of different paragraphs from these books, and the reason why I have them up. That's because people have become more skeptical. Think about it. In the early days of the web, people would get bombarded with pop-up ads, banner ads, flashing animation ads, spam emails, hype-filled sales letters, and more. This has made web visitors tired of being quote-unquote sold to, so their guard is always up. As a result, marketers are now doing the opposite. Instead of leading with the sell, sell, sell mentality, it's now all about building trust. Content marketing does this perfectly because it's not about leading with trying to make a sale, at least not immediately. Instead, it enters the conversation with a prospective customer by giving value up front, before any kind of financial transaction has been made. At its core, even content marketing is still a form of persuasion. In his book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, he talks about the rule of reciprocity. Essentially, when someone gives us something, we feel slightly indebted to that person. We typically want to reciprocate back in one way or another. Content marketing is the rule of reciprocity at work. A company leads by giving away great free content on a subject a prospect wants to learn about. This, in exchange, builds trust and confidence in the company, and ultimately the prospect reciprocates back with their attention and interest. Remember that even just a few years ago, companies were not doing this. Instead, they just try to sell. And this is why companies are doing the opposite and leading with giving value. So let me read this paragraph right here from the Robert Collier letter. Now, this predates the internet and all this, but I want to show you why these principles are so evergreen and they apply today. In every business, it is an axiom that the first sale is the hardest. It's like the first olive out of a bottle or a maid's first kiss. After it, the rest comes easily. And nowhere is this truer than in selling by mail. When you sell by mail to make an attempt to interest a man in your product, your most difficult task is to win his confidence, his belief in your statements. I don't know who typed this, but there's a lot of typos, so I'm going to just try to do my best to get through it. That's why you want to use the free trial offer. I'm just going to assume that that's what it says right there, and that is what makes it necessary to have the money back guarantee. So when you have made one sale to a man, your hardest job is done. From then on, your real profit should begin. When it have cost you 10, 20, or even 50% of your selling price to make that first sale, your second one should seldom cost you 5 or 10%. Why? Because your customers believe in you. You have sold them something in the past. It has proved to be all you claim for it, trusting anything that you may say in the future. This is why the big mail order houses will cheerfully spend several dollars to get a customer's first order. That's why experienced users of mail often offers to the general public only small units of sale like $1 or $2, knowing that a man will be much more readily to take a chance on a low price item with someone he does know, and that a satisfactory transaction at the low figure 10 established confidence just as surely as a big sale. So it just goes to show that people want to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And the best way to do that is by providing value upfront first. And in Advertising Secrets of the Written Word, it talks about the same thing. If somebody is reading a magazine and sees your advertising format, something they have seen many times before, and recognizes your logo or your company name, there's a feeling of familiarity. They see a friend in an environment of foreign advertisers, and to them, you're not foreign. You are familiar, and as a result, there is an attraction to your offering, just as I was attracted to my supplier in Hong Kong. Now, he's referencing a story that he mentioned earlier in this book. Advertise enough times to sell a product whose name is familiar to your prospect, and you will create the same attraction. That is why brand names are so important. That is why the familiarity of a shopping environment is also important. So the more familiar you are with the person, you provide value with them, content with them, and get them accustomed to your content, it's a lot easier to make a sale. So that's why it's so important to lead with value first. So moving on in this article, of course, even though you lead with value in order for your content marketing to be effective, you still need to know some direct response principles. For example, you need to know how to write an effective headline so someone will actually want to read the content in the first place. You still need to know how to present an argument so your content makes sense and is engaging. You still may want to have a call to action at the end of your content, inviting someone to sign up for a newsletter or blog updates. And you still need to understand human psychology and what makes us want to buy from one another, one company over another. That's why as someone who wants to live the writer's life, it's probably in your best interest to know how to write for both content marketing and sales. Just like yin and yang, direct response copywriting and content marketing dovetail perfectly with each other. And because of that, companies will need both now in the future. I mean, think about why we all buy stuff. Let's say you want to buy a new pair of running shoes. First, you do some research by searching for the type of running shoes you need. Maybe you need a wider shoe or one with a special arch support. As part of your research, you read articles and blog posts about the different styles of shoes, content marketing. You'd read reviews and possibly some firsthand accounts of people who've used each type of shoe. There's content marketing. Then you might decide on one particular brand that makes the type of running shoe you want. So you head over to their website and notice that they offer a free report on choosing the best running shoe for your body type and gait, which is direct response. So another great resource for direct response is Dan Kennedy's The Ultimate Sales Letter. He teaches you how to write and up your game for copywriting and how to craft and assemble a sales letter together using research and experience and time to make sales, increase your sales. So I just want to recommend this to you, The Ultimate Sales Letter. You want to try to get the latest edition. This one right here is actually the third edition. And then I also want to recommend to you the Gary Halbert Letter. He's no longer with us, but again, he's one of the most legendary direct response copywriters in the history of mankind. And he has a ton of resources on his website. All you got to do is just click on the newsletter archives, scroll down, and you'll see all of his work from the time that he was alive. So there's a ton of different stuff that you can read in here as far as like how to become more persuasive and detailed and descriptive with your content and your copywriting, and how to actually make a sale, just as they describe here in this article. All right, so I'll be sure to leave all of this in the description, as well as this interview with Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy, who's actually my favorite. He's like the godfather of direct response marketing. And Frank Kern is just a legend in general. He dominated the 2000s and the 2010s. So there's a lot to learn from him, as well as Gary Halbert. All right. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, then I highly recommend that you check out my website, jonathancoach.com. I talk about everything when it comes to generating traffic and increasing sales. And be sure to take a look at the tools and the resources below. Again, I'll have everything that I included in this training from all of their books, at least the Google search for some of these books. I'm not going to be able to link the actual PDF, but I'll give you the Google search so that you'll be able to find it and make the judgment on whether you want to buy it or not. All right. So with that said, I will see you in the next video. See you then.